on and off for all of them. All of us here know that if we were to chronicle Mario's achievements, his talent and gifts, the funny moments, the touching stories, it would take all night, or maybe a 3-day conference that Mario likes to do this. But Mario, in his usual humble style, has asked us to keep tonight short and low-key. And so we will be offering up just a tiny sampling of anecdotes, memories, and accomplishments that demonstrate in some small way the extraordinary career of this amazing man. It's been my pleasure to work with Mario in 2 different rotations on the board. During my first tour of duty, Beechbrook was still pretty much a residential-focused agency when Mario took over and created the vision, as well as recruiting a true team of professionals and an activist board to drive programs that would lead to what is now nationally recognized community-based agency. At the same time, throughout that change and growth, Mario always kept us focused on what is most important to him, reshaping the lives of the children we serve. And of course, he always, excuse me, he always had an example that touched our souls. Mario is blessed with grace, charm, and great intellect. And because of that, he has been loved and respected throughout his long and life-changing career. Now I would like to turn the program over to Deb Rex, Beechbrook's CEO, who will MC the sharing of some memories and stories about Mario.
Well, we're here tonight to honor Mario and really to take a walk down memory lane and just, as Walt said, celebrate some of the many wonderful things that have happened, many involving many of you. So grateful that you're here tonight to share this with us. I wanted to just start by talking a little bit about Mario's early career, which is before he came to Cleveland. Mario's a Bronx boy and went to Hunter College and then Columbia University, and actually started out as a social worker, where probably any social worker should start, working in a public social work department, a child welfare department, and went on to do a number of positions in New York, including, I've heard many stories about his work at the free clinic and some about his kind of traumatizing work at the prisons, letting him eat a whole chocolate cake one night, right? And along the way, he probably developed his greatest career skill, which was driving a taxi, which he used when we did our benchmarking trips about 10 years ago. And the stories are legion. Just ask any staff person who went on one of those trips, especially the one in New York City, and they will say they're glad to be alive right now. I wasn't on that benchmarking trip, but I can tell you he does a lot of U-turns. He thinks U-turns are meant for anybody, any place, especially him. So then Mario and Roberta, with baby Matthew, came to Cleveland for Mario to take his first position at MSAS, first position teaching at MSAS. And we have, Lenore Cola was not able to be here today, but she did send us some remarks that she wanted us to say. So from Lenore Cola, who's still a professor at MSAS, now the social work school, who was on the faculty when Mario taught there for his first 5 years in Cleveland. She says, "Dear Mario, I'm sorry I'm unable to attend your retirement party, and I can't even imagine you're retiring. Wasn't it just yesterday you came to Cleveland? I think it took a while for you and Roberta to shake New York out of your system and to accept this city. But after all these years, I suspect you're still a New Yorker at heart. I would like people to know that MSAS, now the Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences, and your students were the better for your having been there and having taught for those years. I like to think that you remember your time there fondly, as those of us who were there at that time, not many of us left, remember you fondly. Mario, you were a superb teacher who was able to bring your years of clinical experience into the classroom and help students to learn good clinical skills that would benefit their clients. I remember hearing many students sing your praises and talk about how much they not only learned from you, but how much they also enjoyed your classes. I can't think of any more fitting tribute than that you made a difference in the lives of many, many students. We were all sorry when you decided to return to clinical practice setting, but you've made a very important contribution to Beechbrook as well as MSAS. What a legacy you leave behind. I wish you and Roberta the very best in the future, and I hope you will enjoy your great new adventure in retirement. With affection, Lenore. Just out of curiosity, how many people who are here who had Mario for at least one class? So still a lot of people here at Beechbrook, or who have left Beechbrook now, who enjoy Mario. Now, is Bert Rawl here? Mr. Rawl worked with Mario at Benjamin Rose, and he's going to say a few words about that. Mario was at SAS for 5 years and then Benjamin Rose for the next 5.
Thank you. I was blessed and graced to have Mario as a mentor. He came to Benjamin Rose when I was young. I probably wouldn't be director of mental health if it wasn't for some of the tutelage I got from Mario. I have 2 stories. One was about his driving. There is a thing. One of my coworkers, who's now deceased, went on a trip to New York City with me. Remember George? And they were on the interstate, and of course, Mario took an exit and decided it wasn't the exit he wanted to take, and put it in reverse and back.
It's still happening.
George talked about that forever. Fond memory. There were a number of things, a lot of things that Mario taught me, but one of the most valuable things that he taught me was about burnout. We did a whole session on burnout because we burn case managers out a lot. And what Mario said to me was, vacations don't do it. What you need when you're getting burned out, when you're caught in a routine or a rut, is to go back and get some education, because it gives you a different perspective on things. And that gives you new energy and refreshes you, and that's more than any vacation can. And I've lived that a lot through my upper career. Not far behind you, Mario. And it was a valuable lesson. And I not only learned it for myself, but I practice it and learned it for the people under me. So thank you ever so much for that.
So after 5 years at his first B job, Benjamin Rose, Mario went to his second B job, Belfair. And here tonight to talk about Mario's Belfair years is one of Mario's former students who worked at Belfair, Casey Durkin.
So Mario came to Belfair Jewish Children's Bureau and truly was a pioneer at that time in the field of family therapy and couples work. Mario and Roberta, you just added so much and new dimensions to our corner of the country. So it was a very exciting time to have Mario at the agency. However, Mario, at that time, you might recall, I was responsible for the psychoanalytic consultation coordination. And more than once, we consulted monthly. We'd have this great, excited therapist who was newly trained in family therapy, dying to present their case. And it was a family therapy case being presented to an analyst who had actually studied under Anna Freud. So it was a bit of a pinch sometimes. And one thing that I will always remember about my time working with you at Belfair was, and I think you still have, the Brooklyn Dodgers photo in your office. And to me that seemed to be a precursor for a tough time when Mario and I both inherited what was then, this is back in the early 80s, one of the most litigious cases Cuyahoga County had ever seen. And what was foreshadowing about the Brooklyn Dodgers piece was that I felt, Mario, that you proved to be the designated hitter, the pitch hitter, the general manager, all in one, as we truly salvaged a placement in a child's life, and I'll never forget that. So it's been great to know you, Roberta, over the years and to have you intertwined in my family, and I hope that will continue.
And then to the third B in Mario's career, Beachbrook, where Mario's been for the last 23 and a half years. And to speak to that, we have Jim Pender and Kathy Pender.
You're going first.
We have to talk about this one first. Well, Mario, 23 years is a long time, and I've been part of all those 23 years, and even longer before then. And I was trying to reflect on all the years that I've been here, and why the last years seem to be the ones I remember the most. So I was trying to figure that out, and one of the reasons is that the partnership that you and Dad have had has been so remarkable. I really can't think of another organization where there's been an executive team that has been able to lead an organization to the top in its field. The two of you have been remarkable, and I know it's going to be very difficult for the two of you to be separated. You will, of course, be together. I expect to see you at the beach ball. You and Roberta dancing on the floor.
At your table.
Yes.
That you sponsor.
Yes. That's true. Jim and I have already talked about that. And then, Mario, reflecting on your leadership reminded me that what distinguishes you is your style of leadership, which has been an example for me. It's not loud and boisterous, but quiet and gentle. Not forceful and pushy, but firm and determined. Not greedy and egotistical, but humble and respectful. For me, this type of leadership allows people to thrive and to grow, and leads to strength and success. And for me, these qualities are precious. Humility and gentleness and respect for others. You have it all. And my best and love always.
I feel so privileged to be asked to make these comments. Looking back over these past 2 decades, Mario, of knowing you as a friend, I asked myself if there were a couple of key words that would resonate with our purpose of being here this evening. And the first word I would like to identify is flexible, as in capable of adjusting to circumstances. I know there are many people that are very familiar with the field that Mario has spent his life engaged in. But think about it. Consider the challenges of being involved in managing the complex affairs of Beachbrook, changing healthcare and industry standards, the need to appeal to various groups of constituents, the need to address complex financial issues, the need to administer a large organization, address staffing concerns, and so on. Now, we all know Mario to be a decisive, respected leader, both at Beachbrook and in the larger community. And yet, I have personal visions of him dancing with abandon with Roberta at the Beachbrook, of pulling up behind him, driving my car along River Road, and he was in sporting biking attire, and I had trouble keeping up with him. And seeing him relaxed and comfortable in any number of social and business settings over these 2 decades and more. One of the key reasons for his success, in my opinion, and one of the reasons for the fulfillment of the Beachbrook mission, is that Mario has always been flexible. The second word, perhaps equally important, is humility. C.S. Lewis said, "True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less." I think Mr. Lewis may have had Mario in mind when he said that. I close by inviting you to join me in a personal commitment that I intend to pursue. And it's going to serve as a means of recognizing Mario's career and service to others. From now on, and I started doing this evening when I walked in here, whenever I enter these halls, I intend to take some time to look around me. I'm going to look at the talented staff, and I'm looking at you right now. Hardworking, talented people. I'm going to go down in the hallway and look at the children's artwork in the gallery. Think about it. What's there? What's it say? Given the opportunity, if I'm in this hall and the children's chorus comes in, and I have the opportunity to hear their music, I'm going to listen and I'm going to think of Mario. I'm going to think about the circumstances that all of the people that Mario and Beechbrook serve, and how unacceptable and difficult to understand those circumstances are, certainly for a person like me. At that point, I intend to recall with gratitude that lives are being improved and brighter futures are possible because Mario Tonti spent his entire career, for that matter his life, thinking about himself less. What a great example this has been. Mario, thank you.
And now we're going to hear from one of Mario's long-standing, from the very first time he started his career here at Beechbrook, friends and colleagues who have crossed many times, as you'll hear, and remains a very good friend to Mario, Jim Mason, who may get the longest in-state, traveled farthest, because he came up from Cincinnati just for this. Thank you, Jim. Jim Mason.
Oh man, I didn't bring any notes because I would be afraid if I did it would be a book. Because I've got a lot to say about my friend Doc, as I call him. Before I start, I want to say to Roberta and the family, I know this is a journey for a whole family. And the blessing of having a member of a family contribute to the world what Mario's contributed is fantastic. And so I tip my hats to all of you and proud honor of Mario because it's huge. So thank you all very much for what you contributed. Yeah, I met Mario when he looked like that with hair. There actually is hair in that picture. We were executive directors, they called us back in those days, not presidents and CEOs. And we were brand new on the job and went to a conference. I sat next to him and was totally clueless on this job. You get the responsibility to lead a complex organization, you have no idea what you're doing. And I sat next to this really quiet guy that didn't have much to say, but he talked like my mother. This guy's got to be all right, you know? So it turns out he wasn't quite as cool as my mom, who was from Brooklyn. All right, but she also got conscripted to move to Cleveland, which is how I got here, and was born and grew up in Chagrin Falls. And now I've defected to Cincinnati, though I'm still a tribe of Indians and Cats, Browns fan. So, Mario just had this sort of quiet, reserved nature about him that was extremely focused on something that was also important to me, and that was the well-being of the kid in front of him. And I could tell when they were serving 500 kids a year that each one of those children meant a lot directly to Dr. Tonti. And he saw his purpose in life to make it better for that kid. And whatever it took for that kid, that's what he would do. So he hired a talented staff, and he created an organization and started moving in a direction. Beyond that, he wanted to help more kids, not just that kid, but all kids, because that was his passion. So he brings Deb on board, and others as well, and got involved at a national and a state level. And that's what I'm here really to represent, because I participated with him in several ways at a state and national level. Mario was on the board of the Ohio Association of Child Caring Agencies for 8 years, served 2 as president of the board, and during that time there was an awful lot of child welfare funding was going up. Mario was involved in the creation of Family and Children First, which was an interdisciplinary strategy for multi-need kids. And later, as you all know, he was one of the founders of what was turned out to be Voices for Cleveland's Children, now Voices for Ohio's Children, of which we both serve on the board there as well. And we have continued to be involved through the Child Welfare League of America and the Alliance for Children and Families. So, as a lot of parents wonder, how is my kid looked at outside of the home? You know, is he doing okay? Mario's doing great. He is extremely well respected statewide and nationally, and truly Beechbrook's services and programs are national exemplars to the rest of us who are just downstate sucking Mario's wind, as they say. So I would say that the transition, Mario and I have gotten especially close during our participation in a national learning group for CEOs called AFI, and we've been meeting for several years. And we come to that meeting ready to learn. The point that you made about Mario's humility is so true. The guy just wants to do the best he can with this organization. It's not about him, it's how do I serve that kid and all kids. And I gotta say, during this time, I've really watched Deb and Mario, the transition from Mario to Deb to get that done. It has been absolutely remarkable. I mean, there has been no grabbing of papers across the thing to give me this, or no, quit doing that, or any of that. The negotiation, the focus on strengths, the gifts that these two people have, is absolutely astonishing and amazing to me to see the transition that they're working through. And I have great admiration, and I'm still looking up at Mario for an example of how to move into my elder years. The one thing I would say is his driving continues to deteriorate. And I would say I sat next to him in a rental car 6 months ago with a GPS. And he, Mario likes Italian, right? I don't know why. But every place we go, we have to go to an Italian restaurant. So we're on our way to an Italian restaurant. He has no idea how to get there. The GPS lady's yelling at him. I'm yelling at him. We finally got there. I am looking forward to Roberta and Mario in your retirement, well-deserved, on to another fantastic chapter of life in the transition to Deb and all the rest of you wonderful folks at Beechbrook. I look forward to continuing to play with all of you. Thank you very much.
And now, Bob Tonti, Mario's brother, is going to say a few words from a family perspective. Just remember, you have stories that he knows.
Oh my. He taught me to drive. That may explain a lot. I also don't have prepared remarks, but I felt I should say something about my brother. He and I often talk about the problems that are at Beechbrook, and we share problems that I'm having at my agency. And the challenges have always been daunting. And I try and think back on where his ability to take on all these challenges, working closely with the staff and with Debbie. And for those of you who don't know, Mario was a college wrestler. He wrestled, and if you know wrestling, it's by weight class, and the top weight class is heavyweight, and heavyweight is unlimited. So Mario, who was a little heavier then, but only about by 10 or 15 pounds, weighed about 185, he would wrestle in the heavyweight, unlimited weight class. And he would take on guys who were 40, 50, and 60 pounds heavier, 6'3", 6'5", and many more times than not, he would win. And so he had an ability to overcome our expectations and outperform. And when I look at the way he has accomplished everything he's accomplished here at Beechbrook, and I'm certainly very impressed. I never knew he was as good as he is. He's my older brother, of course. And in hindsight, if I look at it, and there's one quote that I think applies to him, he probably doesn't think about it, he may not even know it, but our wartime leader in World War II, Winston Churchill, was once asked, how did we win the war? How did the Allies win the war? And his response was 7 words, and it was never give up, never, never give up. And I think that is what my brother has done all his life. Never give up until it's solved. Thank you.
And Jenny.
Oh, God.
She survived his driving.
Yeah, I want to say that my driving instruction has served me well on the streets of San Francisco, which is full of terrible, I mean, just crazy drivers, but not me. So a week or two ago, we were at a family party, and a family friend who is our generation is a social worker. Her mom's a social worker, her dad was a social worker. She reminded me of a time when I was pretty young, and I said, I am not going to be a social worker. I'm going to break out of the Tonti mold. I know all of our family friends are social workers, but I'm going to do something different from what my parents do. And so when I graduated college, went out into the workforce, and I became interested. I was working in a small nonprofit at the time, and I started to become really interested in how organizations work. Mostly because the organizations I was surrounded with seemed not to work. They were struggling with funding and financial management and leadership and staying relevant in a changing world. So I said, this is silly. If I want to learn, I want to find an organization that does work. And it turns out that's really hard to do. And so I have been, spending the years since then learning about organizations and what makes them work well and what makes them work poorly. And all the time I come across things that I don't understand or that I can't believe. And so when I have questions about that, I go to my dad. And whatever the topic is about, how are these organizations functioning? Why is it like this? What should they be doing? There are a few constants that are always true about his responses. The first is that he never acts like he's got it all figured out. He never says, let me tell you how it is. Let me tell you what they should be doing. He tells me how Beechbrook, how they thought about it. What they thought was important, why they made their choices, and what worked and what didn't. He said, here's what I can share with you from my experience. It's the humbleness that, you've heard about a lot this evening. The second is that it was always clear that he and his team put a lot of thought and a lot of hard work into making the right decisions, whatever decision that they were faced with. From choosing to become a learning organization to what reports and conversations they had with their board to, whatever it was at the time, he didn't take any of it lightly because he could always see the big picture. And he understood how each piece and each decision impacted the organization and the services it provided and the kids that it affected. And the third, and I think we've heard some of this from other speakers tonight too, the third is that the values and the goals are constant, but the means of achieving them need to adjust to the current realities. You can't be proud, you can't be stubborn, you need to be flexible, and you need to do what's the best thing to do for the kids. If it's driving down to Columbus every week to lobby, or if it's sitting on boards all over the county and the state, or even revamping the entire service model, you have to do what has to be done to take care of the kids. So I'm not a social worker, but I'm you know, it turns out that I did follow in one of my parents' footsteps after all. And it's interesting because one of the things that my dad told me when I was thinking about pursuing an MBA, you know, he said, with a focus on nonprofit management, he said that his is the last generation of homegrown management in the nonprofit sector, that today's world is so complex that business minds are needed. And it's not that I'm not glad I got my MBA, I am glad, and I think that it will serve me well. But I also believe that the lessons and the guidance that I've gotten from my dad will be worth, and have already been worth 100 times what my degree is to me. So thank you, Dad. And I know I'll continue to come to you. So, and thank you all for being here.
One of our customers is here, and he's Mr. Bill Denahan, who's the chief of the Mental Health Board. And he's going to say a few words on behalf of the many customers, including Cat Whiteout. He's also here. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Deb. I'm really honored to be here tonight in celebration of a young man that has come a long, long way and is shaping the lives of a lot of young people in our country. And I consider him one of the individuals that helped shape me. And I found myself about 10 years ago at Children and Family Services with an extraordinary set of circumstances in which Mario Tonti gave me very wise counsel. And it's unfortunate sometimes that tragedies bring you closer. And the huge tragedy that we both shared in Chardon really shaped at least my view on the course of how we handle these jobs. And Mario, the night that we stood in that auditorium with 1,500 not so happy people, in which you sat next to me and gave me the wise counsel of good stewardship and handling a tough situation and telling the truth and doing it with dignity and honor and respect for everybody really impacted me as I carried on my duties. So that's not the only time you've done that, though. You have a habit of appearing on the scene when we need leadership the most. And when the Adams, well, actually the Mental Health Board was looking at making a change, actually bringing together all of our services under Tapestry, we prevailed upon Beachbrook to have you come and set that up. And thanks to your guidance and your leadership and your care, we have an extraordinary program that is doing very, very well today. So Mario is an individual that's works in this system every day. I can tell you that you've not only impacted the lives of thousands of children, but a lot of us that are professionals of the business that honor and respect you. So in your retirement, we hope that you know that you leave with your head very high, knowing that you made an extraordinary difference and you distinguished yourself. So those of us that follow emulate the accomplishments that you've done. Congratulations, and thank you for being who you are today and yesterday.
And finally, my turn. an old Chinese proverb that says, Mario, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. He knows that one, doesn't he? If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. But if you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody. And Mario, if this proverb is true, then you must be a very happy man, because your whole professional life has been about helping somebody. To use the words of Franklin Delano Roosevelt as quoted on your invitation to this party, you many years ago chose the life of social justice, the path of hope, the path of love, the path of love toward our fellow man, and you've been amazingly successful. We have a poster of Beach Brook when you came into your role, over there, and then a picture of Beach Brook now as you exit your role. If you look at those two things, they represent the very picture of success. From 85 employees to 525 employees. From a budget of $5.8 million to a budget of $25 million. From a small number of programs, 9, mostly on this campus, to 41 programs across 3 counties and serving children from many counties throughout Ohio. And most significantly, from serving 691 children to serving 24,333 children in the last fiscal year. Every one of those clients has benefited from your vision, from the culture of innovation that you led the creation of, and from the generativity that you've created through the very decency and kindness of your person and of your leadership. Vision, innovation, kindness. We've peppered the room on name tags, the table, cards, etc., with quotes about vision, innovation, and kindness, because these things represent the finest of what you personally have brought to this career, this organization, and this position. For you, Mario, kindness goes without saying. It's your essence. Your respect for every individual you meet, your acknowledgement of their dignity is at the very core of who you are as a person, and who you are as a leader. I know from my own experience of working with you, 23 years here and 5 years previously when you were on the board of an organization I led, that kindness, that valuing of each and every individual serves to help people have hope, to believe in themselves, to grow, and to accomplish things they never thought they could. Your kindness permeates everything you touch and makes it better. Your vision, your ability to see things faster and further than others has been a gift to this organization. I remember struggling with you initially as you were torn between the relative ease of running Beach Brook as the small little jewel that it was, serving the small number of kids that it was, and recognizing the hard work it was going to take day in and day out to grow and develop the potential of this organization to serve far more kids in even better ways. You let your vision and your powerful commitment to the mission win the day. And since then, we've been a lot more tired, but the impact is amazing. And your drive for innovation, your excitement for the next big idea, the powerful what could be, your tolerance for the ambiguity of creating new things, for helping others to believe that it's possible to do so, the apparently impossible. This has led to the first in class and best in class 30-day intensive treatment unit, to a level of foster care that is nearly virtual residential, to the case rate pilot that got such great results it serves as a national model that's touted by the Annie and Casey Foundation, to a prevention and early intervention center at Carl B. Stokes Mall, to a first-in-country ACT team for transitional age youth, and on and on. Your commitment to innovation permeates our culture. We all have come to ask, how do we make this happen, rather than saying, can we make this happen, when we meet a challenge, and especially if it means helping kids. These same traits have led you to be a stellar collaborator and advocate. I have watched countless times in meetings where you've listened to circular conversations that are going nowhere, and you come in just at the right time, with just the right idea, in just the right way, to rise above the conflict and create the shared vision that moves things forward. That, as well as your humility, kindness, and vision, have led to some of the career awards that you've achieved in this community. A kind, quiet, visionary man driven by deep, deep personal interest in social justice has led to so many accolades that are so well deserved, including the Leadership in Nonprofit Management Award from the Mandel Center, the Lifetime Achievement Award of the National Association of Social Workers, and the prestigious Woodruff Foundation Award for the Mental Health Professional. And that's just part of the story. From where I sit, which for 20 years or so has been right across the hall from you, and from my own experience of you, the real measures of your success are the impact you have on individuals and groups through your reliability, your steadfastness, your own willingness to grow and develop. Because we work so closely together, we've shared a lot of life, kids' graduations, illnesses, kids emancipating, your grandchildren's births, and on and on. In each transition, both personally and professionally, I've watched you grow into an even bigger and better man in full. I'm honored to have been your partner these many years, and even though the partnership comes somewhat to an end, I know that our treasured friendship will continue to grow and develop, and I will continue to seek your guidance on thorny Beachbrook issues and dilemmas, knowing that your wise and caring counsel will always be there. Vision, innovation, kindness. My friend and partner, and an outstanding leader, Mario.
I must say, I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. I wrote down a few things, but I am so blown away by this tribute that words cannot capture how I feel. I want to thank my wife, Roberta, who's always been in my corner, my family, my brother, sister-in-law, my children, Jenny, Matthew, and one of the newer additions to the family, Mummy, who is busy writing something else. One of the things I think I must say is to correct my driving record. I drove a taxi in New York for 4 years and never had an accident. Tickets, that's something else. In 1976, Roberta and I packed up our Volkswagen Vatican and came to Cleveland to teach at Moyes and Sass. We promised each other that we'd be here for 2 years. That was a blood oath. And of course, 37 years later, we're still here. When we came here, this big galoot was 9 months old. And clearly we have thrived here. And we've thrived because of the wonderful support and caring that I have experienced in everything I've done and everywhere I've been. I've been very fortunate to know and work with some of the greatest people out there. Moment, please. When I was given this job as executive director of Beachbrook, Pat Lightbody, Dick Mickle, saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And Jim Mason said, we didn't have a clue. I was fortunate enough to know what I did not know. And smart enough to know that I had better find somebody who knew it, or it was going to be short-handed. And luckily, as Deb said, we had known each other for 5 years, with me on our board, and I knew that she had all of the skills that I needed in order to be successful, in order to make Beachbrook successful. So I turned to Debbie and asked her, she had left Bellflower, was a consultant, and asked her if she would come work with me at Beachbrook. That's the way I remember it. We would have to make up shade tires. We didn't start off as a partnership. We started off as an employee-employer relationship. But both of us knew that that was not going to work. And we worked hard and long and contentiously to get to a place where mutual support was just the way that it worked. I know many people have commented on what a great team we are. And anybody who has developed a team knows that there are rough days, and we had our rough days, and those rough days led to wonderful days, and those wonderful days continue till today, and I know they'll continue tomorrow. There's nothing I can say. I could walk around this room and tell everybody what they mean to me, and spend the next 2 weeks doing it. I'm very fortunate that we had a board of trustees. Walt Stupi, as he said, was here before I was. Kathy Pender, Sidney Crotty, I know I'm going to forget people, Norm Jevons. These were people who were in my corner from day one, and who made my tenure possible, and the successes that we had at Beechbrook possible as well. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today and spending this time with me and with my family, and I look forward to continuing all of our relationships in the future. Thank you.
Matt is going to lead us in a sing-along tribute to Mario. It's just
No end to
All right. Okay, so, well, one second. So first I just have to say I'm much not this for everyone. Yeah, for my dad. It's amazing. All right, so we're going to do a sing-along. I'm going to teach you the chorus, and you know the tune probably, hopefully, and then we're going to sing it, okay? So it's to the tune of You Got a Friend by Carole King, as suggested by the brother. Okay, so let's see. So we've augmented the lyrics a little bit. So it goes like this, ready? You just call out his name. Mario! Okay, got it. You just call out his name. Mario! And you know he'll never hit. He'll make it his biz to come running. It's just who he is. Dedicating most of his life to try and do what he felt was right. Here at Beechbrook, those kids have a friend. All right, we got that, man. When you're down in trouble and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Just close your eyes and think of him, and soon he will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. Ready? You just call out his name. Mario! You know he'll make it his biz to come running. It's just who he is. Dedicating most of his life to try and do what was right here at Beechbrook. Those kids have a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, leave your hands together and call his name out loud. Soon you'll hear knocking
Okay, now we have just a few gifts that we want to present, and then we'll let everybody break. The first gift we have, Mario, is a plaque that was sent from the Alliance for Children and Families from Susan Dreyfus, and she sent with it this letter. Dear Mario, it's our great pleasure to thank you for your many years of visionary leadership in Ohio and your loyalty and service to the Alliance for Children and Families. You've been a proven leader in our field, and you've made a significant difference not only in positioning Beechbrook for the future, but in all those whose lives are made better. Congratulations on your retirement. We know you will look back on your accomplishments with much deserved pride and satisfaction. We wish you good health and much happiness, but also hope you will stay connected to us and to our network, as your knowledge, expertise, and strategic thinking remain a great asset. Susan Dreyfus. Okay, well, we've all heard about Mario's driving. I have to tell you, there have been a lot of safety committee conversations about speeding down the driveway. Many of them involved, guess who? So we've taken this occasion, Mario, to name this drive the Mario Tonti Drive, and you'll see the sign when you exit. Name it Tonti Way, but I know he was Frank Sinatra and he'd have been singing My Way to avoid distraction.
Why not Mario Speedway?
Our safety officer wouldn't allow it. We have a treasure box for you, just in case you start to forget Beechbrook. You have a water bottle, you have a mug, you have an umbrella, you have another mug, you have stationery to write everybody in here 10 notes. Don't forget us. You can't wear this until January 1st, when you will officially be a staff alumni. To be a speaker at our next alumni reunion. We are unveiling tonight a picture of you that will hang in here with the other former executive directors. Can someone hold it up, please? It's the, Tom Seifert, can you just hold that up? It's the picture, which will hang in here.
It's the first one in color.
Says, with heartfelt thanks to Mario Tonti, Executive Director 1990 to 2001, President and CEO from 2001 to 2004, and President from 2005 to 2013, and who knows what after that. But for 23 years of leadership at Beechbrook and for a lifelong commitment to helping children and families. this is a real gift. We wanted to give you something that could benefit you and Roberta in your retirement. And in this envelope, you will find a pretend, but will be made real, gift certificate to United Airlines for $1,000 that we hope you can use toward your family trip to Hawaii. Two more brief things, but important things. Mario, over the weekend, a board resolution was circulated and passed designating you as President Emeritus of Beechwood. Which signifies we want you to stay involved for a long, long time. In a very significant way. And finally, Mario, throughout your career, you've been a passionate advocate for the community-based programs that protect children and preserve families. And in fact, that's where the vast majority of the growth in our services have come from. Upon learning of your retirement, your friends, two of your friends actually, who wish to remain anonymous, contacted us with a brilliant idea for maintaining your vision, kindness, and innovative spirit for years to come. They provided seed money that in honor of and recognition of your extraordinary legacy of caring, they established an endowed fund to create an annual staff award at Beechbrook, the Mario Tonti Prize for Excellence in Community Service. This prize will maintain your inspiration in perpetuity by enabling Beechbrook to honor a deserving community services worker, a supervisor, or a program director annually, and/or underwrite a professional development opportunity or conference. Mario, we're so proud and pleased to be able to tell you that as of today, your friends and many colleagues here have contributed and pledged over $30,000 toward this fund, and the gifts keep coming. So congratulations. If you were to say out loud, I know what you would say. I'm speechless. Okay, so we want to send you off, Mario, as a graduate to the next stage stop in your career, another B. Be healthy, be happy, and be connected to all of us.